This is MSR TV6 15 Minutes News. In the headline, 3 young Saint-Martiners enlisted in French Army. Twin-engine aircraft ditches in sea, victims rescued. Thief broke into home, died during restraint. These stories with much more details coming up right after this.
MSR Cable TV, simply the best.
3 young local Saint Martin men signed a contract to be enlisted and serve in the French Army. The official contract signing ceremony was held at the conference room at the sous-prefecture. Several speeches was done by Major Machisset and Prefet Philippe Chopin. After the speeches, 2 of the 3 young men proceeded to the signing of the 5-year Army contract. Major Machisset had this to say after the signing.
We have now 2 new soldiers in the French Army from Saint Martin. These 2 boys come 6 months ago for having exams, sports exam, intellectual exam, and a physical exam too, for their entry in the French Army. They were successful, very, very nice, very hard boys, and I said yes for their entry in the army. So it's what we are signing their first contract today here.
Major, you are not based here in Saint Martin, and how often do you travel to Saint Martin to do orientation for the guys?
Yes, we come here 3 times a year for a week entire, and every week, 3 times that year, we come for information first, evaluations and second, and final the orientation. After these 3 parts of the recruitment, we can make a contract with the new guys.
Do you go to the schools also to try and get the guys to come to the army?
Yes, for us it's very important to make an information before the exam. Because if the young people don't know that it's possible for us to come in the army, they don't do the work. They don't try to do it.
And how old they have to be, and how long is the term in the army?
18 years old at least, and 25 at more. So.
And how long will they serve?
So they can serve 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. It depends. But for me, it's important to offer, to give them a real future. If they sign 5 years, like these two young men, they can have a career like me. My first contract was 5 years. So now I'm 32 years old in the army.
And what are some of the benefits for them as they join the army?
Oh, there is a lot of things. Friends, sports, emotional experience, having the goodness sentiment. I don't know if it's correct or not, but to serve the land, to serve the peoples, to have another vision of the world.
Darian Saban and Emmanuel Knight, 2 of the 3 young men who enlisted in the army, spoke with MSR's reporter, and this is what they had to say.
Well, I'm proud actually to be here. I'm proud to be chosen to join the French Army. The reason why I joined is because I actually wanted to discover somewhere else than just Saint Martin. I just wanted to be different than everyone else. That's basically it.
And Darian, what school did you go to here?
The last school I attended was Descartes in Hope Estate, but the school that I was before that was Petit Collège in Concordia.
And why your career in the army? Are you think you're ready for the task that the army have for you?
Yeah, I think I am. I've been waiting. I'm so anxious actually to join, and I mean, I'm just excited to go.
And Darian, you sign a 5-year contract. After that 5 years up, you think you're going to extend it for more, according to the experience over there?
I guess. I mean, it all depends on I mean, it all depends. I mean, if I like it, firstly, and I mean, if I do, I will extend the contract, probably to 10, 15 years. Who knows?
Well, I find that I seen much of my friends down the streets, they ain't really taking the right choices, so I feel that I have to take a step forward. I see my father struggling really much in work, so the time to take a foot and become the man, you know, in the family.
Emmanuel, what school did you attend here before this?
I went to the Lycée Polyvalent right here in Margot, and I do many.
And are you ready for the task, Emmanuel? You know all what the Army entails, and are you ready to take up that task?
Well, yeah, because I was in LSM in Guadeloupe, so it was more or less the same thing, pressure, all in the game, so I'm ready for it.
Are you doing this as an example to the other young men so they can see what you're doing and take up this as an example to serve their country?
Well, yeah, if they could follow my step, it would be better instead of staying on the streets, definitely, yes.
And a question, Emmanuel, you sign a 5-year contract. When it is finished, you think you're going to extend it or you're going to call it that?
Depending how it goes, if it's really good, I think I'll sign for another 10 years and see what I'll give you.
On Monday, January 27th, at approximately 4:55 p.m., the Central Police Dispatch received confirmation from the tower at the Princess Juliana International Airport that a twin-engine propeller aircraft had ditched into the sea approximately 2 miles north-south of St. Martin. The Aztec aircraft, with a pilot and 2 passengers, were en route from St. Bart's to Grand Casse Airport. The aircraft had possibly encountered engine problems, causing the pilot to ditch at sea. Immediately after receiving this information, police patrol was sent to Guana Bay and Don Beach area to try to locate where the plane had gone down. Other emergency services in the St. Martin Sea Rescue, Coast Guard, and French emergency services, including a helicopter, was sent out to search for the victims. With the assistance of a witness, the police was able to communicate with the emergency service and direct them to where the aircraft had actually went down. At 6:10 p.m., all 3 victims had been rescued from the rough seas by the Voyager and handed over to the St. Martin Sea Rescue. The pilot and his 2 passengers suffered minor cuts and bruises and were transported by ambulance to the St. Martin Medical Center for medical treatment. Due to good condition and input from all emergency service and the Voyager, all 3 victims were rescued before nightfall. An investigation into the cause of the crash will continue.
On Monday, January 27th, at approximately 5 minutes to 5 in the evening, the Central Police Dispatch received confirmation from the tower at the Princess Juliana International Airport that a twin-engine propeller aircraft had ditched in the sea approximately 2 miles northeast of St. Martin, just at sea 2 miles off of Guana Bay. And the Aztec aircraft, with a pilot and 2 passengers, were en route either from St. Bart's or to Grand Casse or vice versa. And the aircraft have possibly encountered engine problems on the way and causing the pilot to ditch at sea. And immediately after receiving this information, the police patrols were sent to the Guana Bay area from where and Guana Bay and Don Beach area from height they could possibly see where the aircraft had gone down. The emergency services, such as the St. Martin Sea Rescue, the Coast Guard, the French emergency services, including a helicopter, were sent out to search for the victims. And with the assistance of a witness, the police was able to communicate with the emergency services and direct them to where the aircraft have gone down. So that was something very positive. And at around 6:10 p.m., just over an hour that the plane had went down, all 3 victims had been rescued from the rough seas because the sea was quite rough on that day. And the victims had been rescued by the Voyager. That's a ferry that goes between St. Martin and St. Bart's. And the victims were handed over to the St. Martin Rescue. And the pilot and the 2 passengers suffered minor cuts and bruises, and they were transported to the St. Martin Medical Center after they were brought in at Bobby's Marina. And we must say that due to the good communication and coordination and input from all those services and the Voyager, especially the Voyager, all 3 victims were rescued before nightfall. And of course, an investigation to exactly what caused the plane to go down will be conducted.
On Tuesday, January 28th, at approximately 3:10 p.m., several police officers' patrol was sent to Oishapon Beach Road 162 to investigate an ongoing robbery and where one of the suspects was caught.
The patrol was sent to Oishapon Road by the Central Dispatch, where they stated that a suspect of a robbery, they had bound him, they had tied him up, awaiting the police to come. But when the police arrived there, the situation seems to be a little bit different. According to a bit of information that I have received, is that a group of 3 men, approximately 3 men, or 3 persons went to that house and intended to break into the premises. And at that home, there's an American family staying on vacation. And when these persons broke into the house, of trying to force themselves into the house, one of them was grabbed or taken or held by the family, and he was held so that he could be tied up and police could come and take him away. He resisted quite heavily, and during that struggle, a lot of stones and a lot of resistance was going on in the residence in order to get this suspect free. Nevertheless, during the whole ordeal, one way or the other, the suspect, for some reason, we believe maybe through strangulation, was not giving any signs of life. And after that, the other 2 suspects fled in the car, and as I say, there's much information I want to divulge, but not right now, because the detectives are at this present time still investigating, trying to piece together exactly what it is happening. But for now, one possible suspect does not show any signs of life. The forensic department is on the scene. The family that was there residing, some of them are injured with bruises and cuts. And as I said, the investigation is ongoing. And I hope it's in short. We would have more information that we can get.
There is an incident that took place on at approximately midnight on Sunday, January 26th, when a Phillipsburg police patrol was sent to Madrid Drive in Dutch Quarter to investigate a case of loud music coming from a bar in that neighborhood. And on the arrival of the patrol, they encountered a very large crowd of persons in front and in the surrounding area of the bar in question. And at this bar, a so-called Pasa Pasa dance was going on. The patrol also noticed that a commotion or a fight had started in the front of the bar, and that several persons were involved. 2 of the persons in this brawl or in this fight were seen each with a knife in their hand. The situation had become very uncontrollable at that time, and because of the public constantly getting involved in the commotion. And the patrol immediately called for backup, and a patrol from the Simpson Bay area and the detectives were sent to assist. But before they could reach to the scene and seeing how dangerous and uncontrollable the situation had become, the patrol was forced at that time, because they did not know exactly what was going on, for their own safety and for the safety of others, to fire 2 warning shots, and in the air, of course, and this caused the crowd to disperse. So then they were able to see and better control the situation, because at that time when this was going on, it was quite dark. This is when they learned, or they get to find out, that during the fight, a man, a 22-year-old man, had been seriously stabbed several times in his upper body and his back, and he was causing him to lose consciousness several times during the time that they were there. And the paramedics were immediately informed of the situation. Shortly after, the police backup and the paramedics arrived on the scene, and the victim was immediately attended to by the paramedics, who, after treating him, transported him to the St. Martin Medical Center for further medical treatment. The crime scene was closed off for the detectives and the forensic department to conduct an investigation and to collect evidence. So the suspect in this case, in the meanwhile, fled the scene, and no arrest in this case has been made as yet. The condition of the victim remains quite serious, and the investigation, of course, is ongoing.
And police officers is calling this a somewhat freaky accident. A passenger bus driver was said to have parked his passenger bus in the Colby area and walked away to conduct some business, but turned around only to see his bus rolling into the road into the traffic. According to the bus driver, he started running towards the traffic to alert the motorist, but no one noticed him or the moving of the passenger's bus. A trailer truck was driving in the direction of Marigot, and the bus ended up crashing into the trailer truck. The passenger bus was badly damaged. However, no passengers was in the bus at the time of the accident. The passenger bus driver was fully insured and said he will be visiting his insurance broker. This has been MSR TV6 15 Minutes News. We want to thank you for viewing. Until next time.